Let's get in here. Let's talk about them. 6-2 Denver Broncos did what they needed to do. Took care of business. 44-24 victory. Continue the home winning streak. Let's get into all that and more. Denver Bronco Roundup podcast coming up right about now. Welcome in, everybody, to the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. We're brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network, sponsored by the amazing Morgan Trinkets. And speaking of amazing, man, what an amazing win for our Denver Broncos. 6-2, leading the AFC West. Doesn't get much better than this, Broncos country. Hats off to them Broncos. Welcome to the show, Kenny Kirkpatrick. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing good. Emotional day as a Giants fan, but thank you, Broncos. Thank you, Bronco country, for taking care of the Dallas Cowboys. Salvaged the day. So great win for the Broncos. Keep it going. Build off last week, and you know it's there. Now the offense is looking good. It was a nice win for the Broncos. I'll just say that much.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give it up because I was concerned a little bit about this game. I thought this was going to be a boat race to the end. I thought that it was going to be high scoring, and boy, was it ever. This Denver Broncos offense did what it needed to do against one of the worst defenses in the league, but they couldn't go out there, in my opinion, and go out there and lay an egg. They certainly didn't, man, as they hung 44 points on the Dallas Cowboys at home. Bo Nix was dealing 4 touchdown passes. The run game was going. J.K. Dobbins over 100 yards. Things were going well for the Denver Broncos offense. And Sean Payton, who had to dial it up, and we've been talking about, has he been outcoached? Didn't look outcoached in this one, my friend.
No, not at all, Keith. And if you want, I can help you out. I want to say hello to some people. If you don't, we'll say hello to some of our posse.
Got to.
Pearl, Graham, Karen, Ernie, Albert Dutchy Knoppers, Michael Ronquillo sending 100 stars, Clayton all saying hello, Patrick, aloha, everybody saying hello out there in many different kind words. And we appreciate you all being here. And like Keith said in the intro, it's now 6-2. 6-2 heading into the second half of the season now. Great shape for the Broncos.
Graham, Dallas, Cowboys. Am I right? Yeah. Big loss for them. They were hoping to get back up on track. Pearl Heater coming in here saying, wow, great game. Yes. Karen, good evening all, and go Broncos. Man, we are in the thick of it, fans. We are in the thick of it. 6-2. 6-2. I had to go back. I'm going to have to get my history lesson, my history books out on the Denver Broncos, because I was thinking as we hit this podcast, Kenny, first, I can't remember the last time I saw 44 points come out of my Denver Broncos. And this wasn't like, hey, the defense scored 3 touchdowns in a 44-point effort. This was offense. This was offense getting it done. I also can't remember the last time we started off 6-2. For all the woes that we started off with, slow start, the whole 9, lost a couple of games as there was zeros on the clock, field goals going through the uprights, a 6-2 team that could be very, very well could be an 8-0 team and looking really strong after today, man. What'd you think about the defense, though, man? The defense going up against that number one Dallas Cowboys offense gave up a late one. I was about ready to put, 17 up on the board before I had to put up 24. But 24 points by the Dallas Cowboys, but really kept them in check throughout the entire game.
Yeah, I had no problem with the defense. When you're up against the number one offense and Dak Prescott and the offense scored 17 points, the MVP of the league, I don't think you're going to hear those talks anymore that he's the best quarterback in the league, MVP. Denver defense shut him down when it needed to be shut down. Dak Prescott, 2 interceptions, bad interceptions on his part. No, good plays on the defense, I think. That's what it was. And I will say, though, let's hope for a speedy recovery from PS2 because Riley Moss, with his pass interference plays every week, if he's got to start covering number one wide receivers the whole game, it might get a little ugly. But Jahdae Barron stepped up. So next man up. If PS2's out for a couple weeks, next man up. Next man up, next couple games. Get PS2 healthy for the stretch. That's what I would do.
Jahdae Barron, Jaquan McMillan, maybe even a little Abrams Drain in there as well. It'll be interesting to see. First, he goes down. He has that injury, lower leg, ankle. Looked like he got kind of landed on with his foot and his shin pointing directly towards the ground and kind of flex that ankle more than you'd like to have. End up jogging back out there, man. Only out for a little bit, but then goes out and shoulder, pec, something's going on with his arm. Not, like you said, it's going to be a big next man up mentality as we move forward. But hey, throughout that game, kept it still pretty tight, figuring the weapons that were still on the field for Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, man. Riley Moss, that'll be a big question moving forward. Michael Ronquillo,
Comes with 100 stars, by the way, this one. Thank you again, Michael. Everybody's friend, Michael Ronquillo. I'll give him this salute for 44 from the Broncos today.
Absolutely, man. Big old salute to Michael Ronquillo, the 100 stars that he drops. When you said with this one, it's like, check out this one, baby. RJ Harvey with 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing and 1 receiving TD. Cornerback Jahdae Barron with his first interception, and Pat Bryant with his first NFL career touchdown catch. Yeah, it was firing on all cylinders. You're pointing out a couple of them on the offensive side of the ball, Michael, and well, you got to in a 44-point kind of routing of a defense that's reeling for the Dallas Cowboys. But RJ Harvey was all over the place. He was running it in. He was receiving once again. Seemed like the same play he actually got the touchdown on last week, a receiving touchdown as well. So that's doing well for him. And then to get it all mixed in too, Pat Bryant finally getting his due diligence as a receiver. That drop in the corner, Pat Bryant coming down with it, beautiful catch and throw for a touchdown. Legitimizes him maybe a little bit more as a wide receiver and not just a blocking wide receiver. Jahdae Barron, love that interception. More importantly, love to see him getting a little bit more experience as well, as Kenny, you pointed out, might be important coming down the road.
Yeah. Just looking at a couple of our comments. Patrick, I like Patrick's aggressive play calling instead of game stalling. I like that, Patrick. And it's, it almost looked like Sean Payton shortened the playbook by maybe 1 or 2 plays. I'm not going to say he shortened them by about 20, but it looks like that playbook was a little shorter today, and that's what we want to see. Michael alluding, Texans and Raiders next 2 games. PS2, 2 separate injuries. Let's see how he does at practice, but if he's limited or not practicing, give him a week or 2 off. You are going to need this guy in the playoffs. You're going to need him.
Going to need him down the stretch. Absolutely, man. And the one thing I do like about Sean Payton is he brings them back when they're healthy, and it doesn't seem like a moment sooner. So when we see PS2 back out on the field, we'll know he's good. But Texans did well. We'll be talking about them probably on the morning juice tomorrow morning, 7
Yep.
a.m. as we go around the league. But right now, as Pearl saying, great game for our Denver Broncos. And Phil McLaughlin coming in here, keeping the party going, man. As the Broncos are 6-2, and he says, afternoon, Keith and Kenny, 100-yard rusher, and 4 complete quarters of football. Shows how good we can be. Now we have to address Riley Moss. Kenny, we needed 4 quarters of football from this offense, in my opinion, going up against this defense. What I was impressed with was the way this defense went out there and really took care of business versus Dak Prescott and this offense. Kept Javonte Williams in check. Dak Prescott had 0 touchdowns in this game. I mean, it was an in-check game for this defense and a great job versus a number 1 offense. It's what I want to see. I know that they got that kind of bonus touchdown at the end with Joe Milton, but kept Dak Prescott to 17 points in this matchup.
Yeah, well done by the defense for sure. And CeeDee Lamb was back, so there was no excuses that they didn't have their players. They were full strength, And I do want to give out one really good thing today was the offensive line. And 2 weeks in a row now, Alex Palchevsky has stepped up. He had Dexter Lawrence against the Giants, and he had Oduzawa today, and he did his job 2 weeks in a row. So Alex Palchevsky may be the guy and that the Broncos feel comfortable enough with if you lose somebody on the offensive line going forward, where you don't have to go get somebody at the trade deadline on the offensive line. So hats off to Alex Palchevsky. I've been watching him the last 2 weeks, and he's been stepping up and doing a great job.
That's a good call out, because even though the Dallas Cowboys weren't ranking up that high on sacks, they were ranking very high as far as pressure on the quarterback. I thought this was going to have to be a game where Bo Nix would have to not only step up, but possibly run the ball in this game. It was pretty clean pockets for Bo Nix. He had the ability to operate. Didn't seem like he was getting flustered and flushed from the pocket as I may have expected in this game. So guys like Palchevsky, guys that we always, knock around, I guess, sometimes, like Luke Wattenberg, great game, man. Great game. In fact, the only thing I can think of that was negative was the one holding call by Mike McGlinchey that brought back a play at one point. I guess we need to address this at some point, man. Do you have an easy answer for both PS2 if he's down and Riley Moss in his penalties? Now, he doesn't get any completions, but he pulls a lot of penalties, and a lot of it has to do with, like Michael's saying here, he needs to stop grabbing wide receivers in one Riley Moss. Solutions? Do you have anything for me, my friend?
Well, I don't know all of them, but I'm a Giants fan. We all know that. And that was not pass interference on him last week. Okay. A couple of these have been very questionable calls on him. But hey, you teach it on defense. You teach it at the high school level and the level before that. If you're beat, hold them. You saw Chris Abrams drain. And I know we're talking about Riley Moss here. You
it's
saw
okay.
Chris Abrams drain, hold that jersey and make sure that he didn't get loose because he was beat. Take the 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down over a touchdown, especially in a close game. I get it, but if you're beat, you teach, to hold. On the pass interferences, those are questionable. I feel a lot of times anywhere around the league, they're favoring the wide receivers. And if you're on the opposite side and you're not the star top echelon of corners, and Riley Moss is a good corner, but he's not top 5 in the league. They'll get more penalties on them as opposed to a star, in my opinion. But going forward, just play tight coverage and teach it. Your defense is good enough where you're not going to give up 30 or 40 points. If your offense starts scoring 30 or more, you go undefeated the rest of the year. So Riley Moss, keep doing what you're doing. Don't allow the touchdown. If you're beat, hold them. It's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, it stinks that they get an automatic first down, but you're not giving up the touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to give it up. Hey, we'll have Drake Greenlaw back. That's going to help a little bit when it comes to coverage and coverage underneath. I think it's going to be big for our front four to be able to get after the quarterback without any additional help from the linebackers and corners and the like. Talanoa Hufanga, who can be a big pass rush specialist on this team, may have to hang back and help out a little bit more with these corners that need some help. Whether it be a Riley Moss, even if he's playing CB2, a little bit of help over the top, knowing that he doesn't need to maybe hold because there's a guy coming down to help him, might be the answer. But yeah, I'd love to see Riley Moss tighten it up a little bit. But like you're right, Kenny. If you're beat, you got to hold. You got to grab, take that holding call. Don't get a touchdown, especially this game was tighter in the beginning than what it ended up being. Kind of a runaway at the very end. It seemed like the Denver Broncos were doing kind of whatever they wanted on offense for the last couple of series when they scored. So, excuse me. You have Graham saying, my bad, I think Chris Abrams trained as a cornerback. I can't keep track, laughed out loud. Zach Allen got back after he got hurt, which was good to see as well. Kenny, how good do you feel about this Denver Broncos team after this win, after now they have the record that they have in the AFC West? Sean Payton talked a lot about, being able to have home playoff games, which means you need to win the AFC West if that's going to be the case. How do you feel about the future for the Denver Broncos after this win, my friend?
I feel the defense is definitely there. I feel the offense after last week's, historic comeback, I was curious to see how they would do today. They did not let off the gas from the first drive. The first drive looked a little ugly with the interception, but right after that, there was no stopping the Broncos offense. That being said, I do still want some depth on offense. Tight end scares me. We saw PS2 go down today. If Evan Ingram goes down for a couple games, he pulls a hamstring and he's out for 3 or 4 weeks, that tight end room is so bad behind Evan Ingram. And, Akins is more of a, halfback, H-back, fullback type, but he's not the answer for 4 quarters if Ingram can't go. So you need to get a depth piece there, and I think you're close. And, you want to bring in, a playmaker? Yeah, bring in a playmaker. Rashid Shaheed, speedster, bring him in. Only, go for those picks that are going to be a 3rd, 4th round pick. You're Super Bowl ready. This defense is Super Bowl ready, and now the offense is getting closer. So it's they're keeping pace, staying ahead of the Chargers and Chiefs, who are winning as well. So you got to stay above them. They can't catch you if you keep winning. So keep winning, Broncos, and make a couple added pieces by next week. And I think this Bronco team could be very dangerous going into the playoffs with a Super Bowl run in them.
It's something you all need to start considering at this point. Talking about tight ends, Jake Ferguson, did he even suit up today? Ha ha ha. Says Martin's joining in over on YouTube.
I'm sorry, Keith. I was just going to say, great job by the Broncos defense, because that was a weakness coming into this game, was covering tight ends. So hats off to Justin Stranad and Alex Singleton for covering him. I bring up the Giants last week. The tight ends did a good job on the Broncos last week. They fixed it. So, they're going to have some good tight ends coming up with Schultz, and Brock Bowers should be back by then. So they're going to be tested. So hats off to them. Jake Ferguson's a top 15, probably even a little better tight end in this league, and they shut him down. So hats off to the defense once again.
And then there was maybe one mishap that we saw on offense. Cortland Sutton, my friend, you dropped a touchdown. I think Michael Gronquillo said Cortland Sutton had a drop for a pass for a easy touchdown. Man, we could have seen a few more points, or at least 4 more points on the board. We could be looking at 48 rather than 44 back there, my friend. That was rough. That was a little rough to watch. At first, I thought there was a little pass interference, but nope. Just I think I got a little excited.
Yeah. For quick funny story, fantasy football, Trevor and I are facing each other this week, and I'm projected I have Cortland Sutton on my team. 102.68. Trevor's updated projection is 102.58. We both have guys going tonight and tomorrow. A tenth of a point difference with the projections. And if it comes down to Cortland Sutton dropping that easy touchdown, but all joking aside, if you're going to have a drop, have it in this type of game and not a game that causes the win or loss for the Broncos, So if you're going to get a drop, get it out of your system in a game like this.
There you go, buddy. There you go. This is one you can laugh off a little bit. If you're Cortland Sutton, I guess. I'm sure he's still beating himself up about it, though. He'd love to gotten on the board and gotten another touchdown, just like Nick Bonito that was begging Sean Payton to get back onto the field to get a sack opportunity as the waning moments were ticking off the clock. But Sean Payton, maybe because of a little bit what he saw today, was taking guys out and off the field. And hey, when you see a Jarrett Stidham sighting at the end of a game, Bo Nix healthy on the sideline, it's a good place to be. Good place to be for a Denver Broncos fan.
Yeah, definitely. I'm laughing. Ernie's in there asking, ask Trevor how that crow tastes. Well, I think he might have gotten sick from the crow, Ernie, because he didn't make it with us today on the post-game show. So he might have gotten a little stomach ache from it.
Maybe he didn't put it in the oven soon enough, and he's cooking it right now, cooking up a tasty dish of crow. Yes. I don't blame Trevor. There is plenty out there. There's plenty of people who speculated a tight game, a tough game for the Denver Broncos. They're going up against one of the best offenses out there. And this is what I wanted to see. Last time the Denver Broncos went up against a top 5 offense, it was the Indianapolis Colts week 2, and they gave up 28 points. And it came down to the wire 29 points. As it came down to the wire, and we lost the game by a point. So I was really tuned in to what this Denver Broncos defense was going to do against a CeeDee Lamb, a George Pickens, a Jake Ferguson, and a Javonte Williams that was number 2 in the league as far as rushing yards. This was an offense that was clicking. Now, I guess they haven't been as good on the road as they've been at home. But what the Denver Broncos defense did today is what we need to see if this Denver Broncos team is really suited for a postseason run, January and February. That's what we want to see. This is what we're looking at.
Yep. If you could put up Patrick's comment, I like that one. He's saying still no kicking back for this team. They need to keep the pedal to the metal. Chance for 8-2 after the next 2 weeks. The reason what I'm going to add is Tony Romo and Jim Nantz alluded to quite a few times in this game that the Broncos are on a now 9-game winning streak at home. They can get home field advantage in the playoffs. The sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. Right now, you're 1 game behind the Colts, and then the Patriots and Bills also have 2 losses. The Patriots beat the Bills heads up, so they got 2 losses as well. But keep that pace going. Keep winning. Get to 8-2, like Patrick says, 1 week at a time. Go to Houston next week. That's going to be a tough one. It's a 1:00 game in Houston's always tough. Get to 7-2, and then we'll look forward to 8-2. But 7-2 first. Keep it going. Keep pace for that home field advantage heading into those, second half of the season and playoffs. Keep everybody healthy and get that home field advantage. The Broncos have one of the toughest places to win. And we saw it last week and this week as well. Two NFC teams went in there and they beat up on both of them. They beat up today, and they had that historic comeback last week. So really tough place to win as an opponent. So get it done. Get it done, Denver. Keep it going. Pedal to the metal.
Martin over on YouTube saying even when Nick Bonito doesn't get it done, he pulls that double team. He gets so much attention, and he opens it up for other guys. With Zach Allen getting home today, I know that Sean Payton, pats Bo Nix on the back for his ability to not take sacks. Does a fantastic job not taking sacks, especially. Well, Broncos fans, if you just look at our last starting quarterback before Bo Nix, maybe in comparison, and one Russell Wilson. So big flip of the page when you go to a Bo Nix, who seems like he never takes it. Dak Prescott was taking even fewer sacks than what you saw from Bo Nix, and we got after him, which is, again, great job by the D, as Paul's saying as well. Graham's coming in here saying Broncos last loss to the Cowboys, it was 1995. And Graham was 2 years old.
I was I'm a little older than Graham, but I was still in college, sophomore year of college.
Yeah, there you go, buddy. Yeah, 2 years old into college. Yeah, second year into college. There you go. So, not almost the same. Almost the same. Roy's coming in here and says, at this point, do you honestly think this is a playoff team? To me, time will tell.
I'll answer as an outside perspective. 100%, you're a playoff team. 100%. Defense, in my opinion, is Super Bowl. Is a defense that can win a Super Bowl. Offense, last 2 weeks, since that fourth quarter comeback last week, Roy was at the game. What a game to see your first game, by the way, Roy. And this week, I know you play who's on the schedule, and you know what? You take advantage of a depleted defense, and now this offense gains even more confidence heading into next week. RJ Harvey, Pat Bryant on the offensive side, the rookies are getting some confidence as well, and we'll see. But I think this team is definitely a playoff team at the least. I think this team makes a couple depth moves at the deadline. I'm not saying the stars. I'm not saying give up the first round picks, but if this team adds some needed depth at certain positions, this is a Super Bowl contender, in my opinion.
I like it, man. At 6-2, you got to start thinking of yourself as a Super Bowl contender in the playoff hunt. I mean, right now you got to start. If not, you start talking about a big crash from here, right? You're 6-2. And all of a sudden you're struggling to make the playoffs. Let's face it, fans. We usually talk about a 10-win team. I mean, we're talking 4 more wins through the rest of the season being almost automatic to get into the playoffs. So, yeah, I think we're playoff and possibly Super Bowl contenders at this point. I always say anything can happen in the playoffs. I know sometimes there's obviously some favored teams in there. But to me, I think you get your foot in the door, you hit your stride at the right time. There's teams that can go far and go all the way to the Super Bowl. We saw it. I wish we had Jake Ferguson. Says Graham, might be able to start making a trade. I heard a lot of speculation that, the Cowboys could be thinking on the opposite side of what the Denver Broncos could be thinking if they lost this game, and they're 3-4-1 in that division. Do you start looking at selling off some more pieces? It's a team that's already sold off Micah Parsons, so wouldn't put it past him. And then of course the Denver Broncos maybe being on the buying side of things. Jake Ferguson,
it's a good name.
I don't know. Good name. It's a good name. What's up, fellas? Go Broncos! We needed that win. My good friend Jeremy Dressler, good to see you. We needed the win, but we needed the decisiveness of this win. This makes me feel so much better, Kenny, and the rest of Broncos country, than if we would have eked out. I don't care if it would have been a 13-12 win or a 34-35 win. If we would have eked it out, it wouldn't feel the same. This was a pretty dominant performance by your Denver Broncos. And that's what you need to. That's what I feel good about. We needed this type of win. Karen's coming in. I just want to hit this real quick, taking us in the way back machine, saying, I was at the game 8 years ago, and y'all might remember this one. I think I remember this one. There was a weather delay. that delayed the start. The game was about an hour late due to lightning in the area. And I think I remember, in fact, I might have been watching it with my good friend Jeremy Dressler that I just put his comment up on the screen on, waiting for that lightning delay to pass so we could watch a football game. So, yeah, I think I remember that one. Thanks for taking me in the way back machine. I appreciate it. And it looks like got our good friend Phil McLaughlin who sent more stars. And I don't know if he put a comment with it.
It
Now I'm not
might
seeing
be,
any.
Phil, if it's this one, without our D penalties, we could take 10 points off the board for Dallas. I don't see any other comments from you, but thank you for the stars. If you can if you did have that comment, 'cause we definitely don't want to ignore it. If you had that comment or question, please put it back in the chat and we'll definitely read it on the air.
Yeah. And of course, I just cannot find it anywhere, too, on top of it. James Green, come on, guys. Yes, they are a Super Bowl team, and I'm from Kentucky. Bourbon Nation, I think that's what he's saying. I don't know. Yeah, Kentucky Bourbon Nation. Yeah, that would make sense. All the way in Kentucky. Thanks for coming in, and thanks for being a part of the conversation. I think you're right, and Kenny, I want to kind of curtail on what you were saying. This is the time. If you ever thought the Denver Broncos should go out there and add talent at the trade deadline, this is the time that you need to start sniffing around. You are a 6-2 team. If you feel like you're missing a piece or two, you should be out there looking around because it can make the difference between being a Super Bowl winner or maybe not. Just one piece, two pieces. You never know. Don't be surprised. There's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of chatter. A lot of it's been around wide receivers. We'll see if that happens to be true. But yes, I think this team is a Super Bowl contender. And now if they go out there and they start saying, hey, we need to step it up a little bit. We need to go out there. We need to make sure that we have every box checked that we possibly can. Then you can see a trade. And I think that speaks even larger at that point of exactly where this team thinks they're at and the go time they're in right now. I do just, I was going to say something. Now all of a sudden I lost my train of thought. So never mind, Kenny. You got something for me? Is Kenny frozen? Kenny might be frozen. Oh, no, we got frozen Kenny. Oh, maybe he's coming back. He's back. All right.
Graham had some breaking news on Marvin Mims. He's in the concussion protocol. So again, here's where we go with depth now. See who's available at this deadline. Bring in a receiver because after Pat Bryant, you're not seeing Trent Sherfield at all. You don't have much depth at wide receiver to behind Marvin Mims. So maybe a Shaheed or somebody in that nature comes in if available and is there for some good formations you could do with Rashid Shaheed, and we know how speedy he is, and he can hit a home run any day of the week. Any time in a game, you can get an 80-yard bomb from him with his speed. So curious to keep us up to date. Patrick wants to know if the Broncos make the Super Bowl, let's have a Hawaiian watch party, Keith.
Aloha, man. I would love that, my friend. Do I book tickets now? That's a little presumptuous. Yeah. I don't know what last minute tickets to Hawaii would be like. Yeah, if Phil did say that was the comment, without our D, we could take 10 points off the board for the Dallas Cowboys, those defensive penalties that we had. It brings up a great point, probably at least could take 4 points off the board. You would hope that you could convert a touchdown maybe to a field goal on one of those possessions, and take another 4 points off the board for the Dallas Cowboys. Can't necessarily say we can erase all the points off the board. You don't know how it plays out, but it does speak to the point that, that's how close this defense played, and a couple of penalties could have swung it quite a bit.
Let's give the Broncos defense a ton of credit. Beginning of the game, goal line stand holds Dallas to 3 points after the illegal formation or false start that they had early in the game. They can't get in. They only get 3 on the board to start the game, not 7.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give the Broncos credit there on that first drive.
Yeah,
Because that could have set the tone. That could have set the tone.
Well, I said if this team went down 14 points, I was going to get nervous. And they didn't allow that to happen. It went, like you said, went down there, held them to 3 points. That was huge. Mims did, and that's what I was thinking about that too. That hit, they're like, and Romo's like, oh man, he really got him out of bounds on that play. I'm like, yeah, with a helmet to helmet hit, he ear-holed him on that one. Martin's also saying that he's in concussion protocol. Boy, let's see. Brian Kelly has fired. Buyout is north of $50 million. Maybe we'll talk about that on the Morning Juice tomorrow.
Yeah, they're a little collagen.
Yeah. And that last touchdown, according to Mr. Ernie Mays of the Cowboys, was 1 foot, and the second foot was out in his opinion. He didn't like the call of that first foot being in possession. Yeah, it's a funny thing, like possession, right? It's like as soon as it touches your hands, is that when you have possession? That's a little funny, you know what I mean? Definitely seen guys have it go right off their hands for an incompletion. So how are we counting that possession? So I get where you're coming from, Ernie.
Right.
J.K. Dobbins, and this is another one that Michael has dropped a couple of times, so we do need to talk about it.
This has come with 100 stars, by the way.
Okay, well, you didn't need to do that. I was going to get to this, Michael. I appreciate you, my friend. This is something that's big, and it's one of the reasons, Kenny, that as you were talking about adding weapons, I kind of feel like I don't want to take running back off of the table. As much as I am a big R.J. Harvey fan, you know it. Like, I called him as a Denver Bronco before anybody, and we both did a fantastic job on our pre-draft shows that we were doing, and then the draft show itself. But R.J. Harvey was a big I thought it was going to be a huge piece for the Denver Broncos. I don't think he's there yet, and it does make me worried if J.K. Dobbins was to go down. So I'm not going to take a running back off the table. Now, knock on wood, got it right here. Hopefully you heard it. J.K. Dobbins just keeps doing what he's doing. And congratulations to him in his second 100-yard game as a Denver Bronco. And I think he's got a lot more of them in him. But, it might be one of those pieces I look at as well, man. 100 stars for 100-plus yards for J.K. Dobbins. Thank you, Michael Ronquillo.
Thank you, Michael. And Michael, Phil, and anybody else out there, thank you for bearing with Keith and I tonight. We're only 2 of us tonight, so if you did send stars and we missed them, it's not done purposely, but we appreciate you telling us in the chat that you sent them in case we don't see them.
Absolutely. Paul's saying thank you, Pearl, and I guess that brings me to a place. He was saying that because they were all in agreement on something, but I want to thank Pearl for a different reason. She is our sponsor. She has Morgan Trinkets. They've been doing Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, State Gold at wholesale prices for over 34 years. They do shows in northern Colorado, southern Wyoming. They're over there on eBay. Just type in Pearl Heat. That's kind of short for Pearl Heater, Pearl Heat, and you'll find everything over on eBay. All terms apply. If you're over there on Etsy, type in Morgan Trinkets Co. That's Morgan Trinkets Co. And you can find everything that she has to offer over there. $50 orders are shipped absolutely free. Anything above that as well. And all major credit cards are accepted. But check it out. Morgan Trinkets, Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, State Gold at wholesale prices because the holidays are around the corner. And I don't want you to be, missing out. I mean, she'll ship it quick, but you don't want all the good items to go either. How do you I am thinking that we have Beatty and Jaleel McLaughlin. Yeah, I just don't know if they bring the same thing as J.K. Dobbins. Probably Bidet is probably the closest that we have in that. Jaleel McLaughlin doesn't bring the same thing. And then you do have the question of, how do they compare with other people out on the market? And you probably bring up a great point here, Phil. The last part of the piece is what everyone keeps talking about, including my friend, cousin in the podcast industry, and Let's Talk Broncos host, Kurt Valente. He wants to get sometimes guys before the Chargers do, before the Chiefs do. And so he's big on like Alvin Kamara at the moment, getting him in a Denver Bronco uniform, for instance. So, yeah, you have to. It's a dicey thing. I think the biggest thing for me, and this is something to watch out for, is that Sean Payton kind of pushed back at the thought. I think it has to be the right guy. I think he's set up this room and this culture and the type of people that he's brought in, and he's not going to go ahead and disrupt it just because someone thinks he needs an extra piece. It's got to fit, buddy. It's got to fit. So that's one thing I would say. Anything else that you got to say before we start wrapping things up on this Denver Broncos victory that we should all be hooting and hollering about? Can't believe I'm not more excited. Maybe it was just the emotion of last week, and then the put it to bed early victory, it seemed like, from this Denver Broncos, where you're kind of like twiddling your fun thumbs going, okay, I can't wait to do the post-game show because it should be coming up as soon as we can run this 7 minutes off the clock, So anyway, some final thoughts as we go through about it.
Michael is saying we need to trade for a tight end more than a wide receiver. Keep an eye out for the Titans. I think Craig I'm not going to try and butcher his last name. Keep an eye out for that name as a tight end. Jake Ferguson is a name to watch too. The Cowboys lose next week. They're going to be looking to probably sell some pieces. So yeah, I think they do need a tight end more than anything. But first time this year, I mentioned before the season started, we had our bold predictions. John Franklin Myers, double-digit sacks. I said I was going to have the sack counter for the year. I totally forgot about it. JFM, 4 sacks through 8 games, rather.
All right, buddy.
Do the math. Another 4 be 8. He's right near there. He needs to pick it up a little bit, and he might get those double-digit sacks. So we'll see what happens. But 6-2 Broncos. Enjoy it, guys. Still in first place. Don't look back. Next week's going to be a tough one. Check out Keith and I on Morning Juice tomorrow. We're going to go around the league, and I'm going to throw a little spoiler out there for everybody. Halloween's coming up. I'm going to have a blind ranking for Halloween-themed blind ranking for everybody. And if Keith wants to do a football one for me, he's more than welcome to. But I got a Halloween-themed one ready for Keith.
I like it, Kenny. Morning Juice tomorrow, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. We go all around the league. Can't wait to chop it all up. We'll talk a little Broncos. We'll talk a little Giants, I'm sure, as well, Kenny. Sorry about your day when it comes to being a Giants fan. I love chatting with the Broncos fans this way. Appreciate Karen, you being in here, being a part of it. The posse means so much to us, and we appreciate you a ton. Everybody coming in here, being a part of what we do. We come in here post game like we're doing right now, have a great old time with you, especially with the Denver Broncos continuing to rack up victories. 6-2 Denver Broncos, man, feels good to say. Wednesday, Friday, 7 to 7:30 p.m. Hit that notification button, like, share, and subscribe so you know exactly when we go live. But we go Wednesday and Friday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. But Kenny, you nailed it. Can't wait to go back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Adam and Kayla said, let's go Broncos. Enjoy this one, but time to look to the Texans. It's another big game coming up. But we will Super Bowl for sure. But we'll be in the Super Bowl contention for sure. Maybe that's what Adam and Kayla are saying. Adam and Kayla, I know it's a bittersweet day in your household as you have a son, I believe, that's a Cowboys fan while you're a Broncos fan. So don't rub it in his face too much. I'm sure you're not. You're a good parent. I love you guys. Appreciate you being part of this. Patrick Wiltsey saying, evening, coffee time. Enjoy the Sunday night football game. Time to crush my chore list. Time for me to crush another bag of Lion coffee as I'm about ready to turn one empty bag into one full bag right around the corner here. Might not have a prop here in the near future. Thank you so much, Patrick Wilsey, for coming in here and being a part of the show, my friend. Go ahead,
Can I just answer Phil's question for Scadaboo?
Yes.
He wants to know if Scadaboo's out for a while. Dislocated ankle, surgery tonight, Phil. So it looks like he is going to be gone for the year. And prayers for Cam Scadaboo, because he brought a lot to the NFL, and to see him, not saying it as a Giants fan, saying it as an NFL fan, he brought excitement to the NFL. So you hate to see anybody go down with this type of injury. Javonte Williams had that injury. And Nick Chubb had that injury. So it's not a good one. So let's hope he has a successful surgery tonight and speedy recovery, Cam Scadaboo. So, salute you from the Bronco fans.
Absolutely, man. Love the way the guy plays, man, and what he was doing in the league so far. So injury like that, taking him out, we're going to miss something in the NFL, not having Cam Scadaboo highlights and personalities running around out there on the NFL football field. We're getting the call, juice, dose juice. Juice it up, Paul. We're ready to go, my friend. Yeah, it is a shame, Phil, and we're praying for him. That's for sure. Guys, gals, can't say it enough, man. It's what we needed. It's what I wanted to see. And though me and my good friend Kurt Valente over there might disagree, I take things from wins like this. Being able to put up 44 points on a bad defense was necessary. And they did it. And they look good doing it. And it's what we needed to see. And it tells me they can go out there and be dominant. Even if it is against a bad team, you got to be able to show that you can do it. I didn't want this to be a Jets type of win. And that defense, what they did to Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, Javonte Williams, this defense is legit, boys and girls. Legit. Elite. Let's hope that PS2 comes back and he comes back strong. We'll need him going down the stretch, man. But celebrate this win. Wear your orange and blue with pride all week. Salute your fellow Denver Bronco fans out there as you walk about. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, man. Kenny, if you don't mind, we're going to just jump on out of here after a fantastic post-game episode. That okay, my friend?
Great job. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Morning Juice, 7 a.m., 9 a.m. Eastern time.
7 a.m. Mountain Standard, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Going to get all juiced up and ready for that next. Kenny, can't wait to see you, man. We're going to get out of here the way we always do. Keep those feet, keep those boots in the stirrups, keep the guns in the holsters, keep the Denver Broncos 6-2 in your heart. Can't wait. Can't wait for the next game, guys. We'll see you on Monday, tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Take care, everybody.